It's a beautiful day this morning. Wait for it. Wait for it. I'm back. In Florida! I'm heading south on Interstate 75. Not long after passing the big Welcome to Florida sign, the exit for the Welcome Center is here. They have free beverages here. I'm guessing this rest area is sponsored by Publix. Publix is the predominant supermarket in Florida, and they're known for the delicious pub subs. Inside is the small homage to Tampa Bay, specifically the Gasparilla pirate ship. It says treasure awaits. In front of me is a rendering of the Tampa skyline, and here is a treasure chest and an astronaut spacesuit. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., they serve small cups of either grapefruit juice or orange juice, which I got.
Hey guys, it's Emily. Welcome everyone. Today I'm in Florida and I'll visit some more roadside attractions. I'll be focusing on the northeast part of Florida, starting with Jacksonville. Then I'll see some more places as I head south. It's gonna be a great day. Let's go.
My first stop in Jacksonville is at Jesse Ball DuPont Park to see a massive treaty oak. This tree quite possibly could be the oldest living thing in Jacksonville. The circular marker down here says the Treaty Oak Conservation Project is dedicated to the memory of Frank Xavier Friedman Jr., who helped preserve this tree. Jesse Ball DuPont, for whom this park is named, was a member of the garden club whose family owned the property, including the tree. In 1964, DuPont donated it to the city of Jacksonville with the condition that the land be used, quote, only as a public park to preserve the ancient oak commonly known as the treaty oak for the benefit and enjoyment of the general public, unquote. There's another part of the story for how this tree was preserved. Back in the 1930s, in order to prevent development very close to the tree, a newspaper journalist made up a story about the treaty being signed at the base of this oak tree with the Seminole Native American tribe. The argument was the tree was considered a local landmark. The plan worked, and this giant oak was called the treaty oak. This tree is estimated to be about 250 years old. The treaty oak is 70 feet tall, and those massive branches give it a width of about 150 feet. The trunk is massive. There's another marker over there. It says, this is Jacksonville's favorite oak. That massive trunk is over 25 feet in diameter. This oak tree was the centerpiece of an attraction called Dixieland Amusement Park, and Babe Ruth played baseball here, and John Philip Sousa held a concert here. This tree has had quite a colorful history over its lifetime. Today, people like to sit in its shade and relax. Due to conservation efforts, arborists believe this tree could live another 400 years. Jesse Ball DuPont Park is located in the corner of Prudential Drive and Main Street. Be aware there is very little parking at the park. Let's go check out my next stop in Jacksonville. Looking across the St. Johns River at the downtown Jacksonville skyline. It also looks like we'll be getting some of the scattered storms that Florida seems to get every single day. That blue bridge over there is the iconic Main Street Bridge, which lifts up at the center of the bridge when large ships pass underneath. Speaking of ships, behind the bridge is the USS Orleck, where the Navy Museum is. Behind this fence is the Friendship Fountain. It's been fenced off for months now. This large fountain that can spray water over 100 feet in the air, and at nighttime it has colorful lighting. Nearby, check out this large painted mural at the Museum of Science and History. You can see an astronaut, a galaxy, below that maybe the Grand Canyon, an eagle, then dinosaurs, and maybe water creatures below that. Now heading into the downtown area, I'll be driving on the Main Street Bridge. Barely enough space for 4 lanes. This bridge was built in 1941 and was named for Jacksonville Mayor John T. Alsop in 1957, a year before he passed away. Now I'm at James Weldon Johnson Park. Johnson was born in Jacksonville in 1871. He was a civil rights activist, a leader of the NAACP, and a renowned writer and composer. There's a marker over here that discusses the Great Jacksonville Fire. In 1901, a fire began at a factory, but spread over 2,300 buildings across 146 city blocks. It still is the most destructive fire of a southern U.S. city. Panning over here, this is the Jacksonville City Hall. Wow, that building stretches down that road a long way. But here's a roadside attraction I'm walking through. This big giant mouth. This mouth was at a science museum that I was just at, up until 2016, when it was moved to this location, and I saw a cat running through there. This mouth has quite a bit of graffiti on it, and it also appears to have some cavities. This mouth is in need of some root canals. The tongue still shows where the sweet and salty taste buds are, but there's more big cavities. Alright, I'm going through the mouth to see more roadside attractions, hopefully before the rain starts. It smells like rain is coming, and the winds are picking up. Well, the rains have fallen, thankfully just light rain. Even though I'm several miles from the coast, there's a lighthouse in the distance. At this parking garage on Union Street is that lighthouse. This lighthouse is a replica of the much larger version found in St. Augustine. One difference is this lighthouse has a cross on it, as this lighthouse is meant to light the way to the First Baptist Church, who owns this garage. This corner has a 2-for-1. Not only is this lighthouse here, but zooming in on the buildings, about a block from here is this large U-Haul moving truck. Looks like it is on a small office atop the self-storage building. That's pretty good advertising, a moving truck on a temporary storage building. A few blocks away is the Richard and Annette Block Cancer Survivors Park. There are some awesome displays in this small park. On the left are the miniature versions of the bridges that go across the St. Johns River. That blue one we just saw, that's the Main Street Bridge we used earlier. I'm not sure what the green bridge is. There's also this red bridge, which I might see later, and the white bridge I believe is the Interstate 295 bridge, the east bypass around the city. So I'll go ahead and walk across this one. This powerful representation is the cancer survivor sculpture. At the front of the sculpture are people who have survived cancer. Further back are people that have just received a cancer diagnosis and are about to start treatment. This marker states this sculpture is named Cancer, There's Hope. It's the last artwork from sculptor Victor Salomons. He considered this to be his finest creation and labor of love. Looking at this from another angle, the maze is a great representation for treatment of cancer. It also is a reminder that cancer afflicts people of all ages. Reading from this marker with appreciation for all the cancer patients, physicians, and scientists who have gone before us so the present treatments are available. There's a wall where those little bridges end, where there are markers that are meant to be helpful or inspirational, like this one. Some people have been cured from every type of cancer. Make a commitment to do everything in your power to help yourself fight the disease, and also get a second opinion regardless of prognosis. Taking a look at the other side of these small bridges, leave me a comment if you're from here and have driven across these bridges. For this blue one, I'll go ahead and walk across it to get to the other side where I started. While on my way to my next destination, I saw the Jacksonville Jaguars stadium, so I stopped real quick. Hoping for the fans, the Jags have a better season. They have a new coach that won a Super Bowl against the great Tom Brady. Now I'm in Jacksonville Beach at this Crunch Fitness. I'm not here for a workout, I'm here to see this mermaid. Seems very random. This mermaid is in the middle of a parking lot. This mermaid was actually meant to be installed at a park in Beaufort, South Carolina. The city paid for designing the statue, but rejected it because they said it was too erotic. Walking by these skateboard-preventing notches here. So back to the story. The sculptor Thomas Glover W. was approached by a developer in Jacksonville who asked him to create a sculpture from a strip mall. Glover W. decided to build the same mermaid statue he previously designed, so here it is. At the corner of 10th Street and Beach Boulevard, getting close to the ocean, and here's another seemingly random sculpture of Pegasus. The sculpture is installed next to a veterinarian's office. Maybe this vet helps get winged horses to better health? Looking at this Pegasus, I'm pretty sure this would have been rejected by the South Carolina City Council as well. Also, the sign stating the cameras are watching you. The sculpture has been damaged, notably by people removing its parts. But each repair includes restoration of those parts. Anyway, on to my next stop. Now at a park that leads to the ocean, Jacksonville Beach, Florida. First Coast's finest beach. Along this walkway is this very realistic sculpture of a woman holding her yellow surfboard and a guy possibly ogling at the woman. The sculpture looks really creepy, and I'm sure this definitely wouldn't be acceptable to to the Beaufort City Council. The sculpture is named Dawn Patrol, and the sculptor is Seward Johnson. This is a life-size statue of 2 surfers. Some other reviews of this sculpture. Not only is the sculpture life-size, it's lifelike. It really does look like 2 people hanging out here. To me, it looks like the girl just wants to go to the ocean and ride some waves. The guy, however, has a real staring problem. Check this guy out. This really does look like the guy is staring at the woman's, I mean, really. Look at this angle here. Maybe it would have been better to have the guy standing next to her, not crouched down like he's like that, staring at her, And now for something completely different. Remember when I went to Melbourne Beach earlier this year to see the presumed landing of Ponce de Leon? I'm at Ponte Vedra Beach at another Ponce de Leon statue. This area believes Ponce de Leon came ashore here in 1513. The statue was erected first, and is a copy of a statue in Punta Gorda, where Ponce de Leon was killed by a poisoned arrow. The statue and this marker were unveiled on April 2nd, 2013. April 2nd was the date in 1513 where Ponce de Leon presumably saw where he was about to land. The marker notes the precise latitude, as well as noon being the time of day, very precise for over 500 years ago. What do you think? Did Ponce de Leon land near Melbourne or St. Augustine? Please leave me a comment. Now in Green Cove Springs, I'm a little hungry and I've spotted a Whataburger. Whataburgers are better in Texas, but they are much better than McDonald's or Burger King. We got some burgers and got that fantastic spicy ketchup to make it all taste really good. In downtown Green Cove Springs is the Clay County Historic Triangle, where there are some historic buildings, starting with the 1894 Old County Jail. It's currently where the county archives are located, but is also considered a haunted jail. The city archivist stated she hears footsteps when she's the only one inside. Some ghost hunters have backed up her story with supposed recordings when they spent the night in the jail. The ghost hunters also said that the ghosts tell them to get out of the building, which looks like what this hardened criminal is trying to do. That's pretty clever to add this criminal hanging onto the prison bars as he tried to escape from this prison. This jail has 16 cells and held prisoners from 1894 to 1972. There's a museum inside which discusses the various criminals held here, and also the last prisoner hanged here in 1915. The jail has limited hours when you can see the historical photos and take a tour of this jail. Over here is the old Green Cove Springs train depot. This was a logging railroad that ran from 1881 to 1899. Not sure if those tracks are original, but there is a caboose and also the small railroad crossing signal. The railroad ran to the city of Melrose. The railroad was never on good financial footing. The beginning of the end came when the Great Freeze hit Florida in the mid-1890s. This does look like fairly old railroad tracks, so this could be original tracks from the 1870s and 1880s. The final stop in the Clay County Historic Triangle is the old courthouse. This was built in 1889. This old courthouse is very well maintained. This marker states this county was created in 1859, then Green Cove Springs was chosen as the county seat in 1871. This courthouse was used for county business from 1889 to 1973. This is now on the National Register of Historic Places. The war memorials are over there. I'm going to pay them a quick visit before I leave the city. Clay County remembers those that served in the armed forces during times of war and peace to defend and preserve our liberty. I just noticed this is the only brick road around. Is this an original brick road from the 1880s? Leave me a comment if you know. Driving about 30 minutes south and I've reached the city of Palatka. There's a giant banner on the side of that building. I'm not sure what each of the letters represent, but there seems to be a lot of the St. John's River in those photos. This is an interesting painted mural. It has that 3D forced perspective look where that rope looks closer to you than the rest of the painting. The background of the painting appears to be notable buildings in Palatka. Next to that mural is Angel's, Florida's oldest diner. It opened its doors in 1932. I believe this was an old train car that was converted into a restaurant. This restaurant is very, very popular with locals. Walking around the downtown area, it looks like a lot of downtown has been renovated recently. Take a look at this painted mural. This is a nice old Florida type picture with a paddle wheel boat traveling along the St. John's River. Here's another awesome painted mural. This is an interpretation of Palatka from 1774. Looks like a man paddling his boat down the St. John's River as he goes by a settlement. One more painted mural along the length of the building. Looks like a bunch of smaller photos in front of a grassy field. I should have gotten closer to this mural. This marker talks about the Hotel James, a historical landmark. The hotel is considered an architectural treasure not just to Palatka, but to the entire state of Florida. And there it is. The Hotel James was completed on November 10, 1916 after just 6 months of construction. The hotel accepted guests until 1984. Now at the Palatka Memorial Bridge, there are 4 statues, 2 at each end, that honor the American doughboy soldier. Here's a look at one of the statues from the front. It looks like he's holding a torpedo, perhaps about to have it locked and loaded. There's another one on the other side of the street, next to a Quality Inn. There are 2 more on the other side of the bridge. Walking to one of the piers, there's a sign here letting me know that there are alligators and venomous snakes in the area.
Beware of venomous snakes.
Look how beautiful this is. Not many clouds right now, and the St. John's River is so calm. This beautiful river would be markedly different if the Florida Canal project was completed. As I'm about to leave, I spot another painted mural. I'm not sure what this building is, but it looks like in front of the building is a horse-drawn trolley car, some horses drinking water from a fountain, and someone selling oranges. I'm very close to the Angel's restaurant that we saw earlier. There are so many murals in Palatka. It's a very beautiful town, kind of off the beaten path. One more place left to see. My last stop on this video is the Daytona Beach Buc-ee's, one of the largest Buc-ee's locations, getting a full tank of gas, and the current price is $3.29. Pretty good for Florida on Labor Day weekend. This location is very busy. Look at all the people here. Adam the Woo would call this a beehive of activity, and it's very active in here. Look at Buc-ee the beaver driving the car. He's got a big smile on his face. Last time I was here, they had none of the coral t-shirts. I'm hoping to find my size. It looks like a lot of youth t-shirts down here. Looks like they have adult t-shirts today. Now I have a shirt from all 15 Buc-ee's locations I visited. And that's it. For the most part, the weather cooperated except for a quick shower. Definitely a lot to see in Northwest Florida, so if your travels take you through here, go see this area and get off the interstate, Benstone. That's a Doc Hollywood reference for those new to the channel. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye! A little bonus footage. Still heading south on Interstate 95, but I'm about to exit the freeway. Where shall I go from here? Where am I headed? I bet those big green signs will give a clue. The construction of I-4 Ultimate is finally complete, and I'm using my Peach Pass to pay for using these express lanes. The Georgia Peach Pass works on all toll roads in the state of Florida. In view is the Orlando skyline. The Orlando Metro is growing pretty quickly. So quickly it may overtake the Tampa metro area in a few years to become the second largest metro in Florida, just behind Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Lots of skyscrapers are being built to the left. On the right, the light gray building with the glass in front, that's Amway Center, where the NBA Orlando Magic play. But you might guess where I'm headed this evening.